Good morning. How many friends do I have from last year? Oh, now I feel much better. Thank you. So I want to start with the two challenges that I'm going to bring back at the end of my talk to you so that you can follow me along much better. I can be hard to follow sometimes. English is only my fourth language, I'm telling you that right now, so sometimes I may be mixing up the words. But my two challenges are, number one is, I'm going to try to challenge each one of you in this room to really try and think about which world problem or problems is or are your company working towards building. And second question, challenge is, we don't like that. Second challenge is, how is your company contributing to putting in place the ecosystem to achieve that world problem that you're trying to solve? With that in mind, I want to start with 3 examples of how other companies have been doing that, once again, just to give you an idea and get you into the mood. For instance, I know that the Container Store with Kip Tendall, what they have done there is in addition to selling organizational products to their customers, they also have been very engaged in this issue of plastic and the whole issue around plastics. And one of their biggest things has been to work on the cornstarch pellets so that they can offer much more ecological sound solutions to that problem. Another one is Whole Foods markets, whom we all know, but in addition, in their case, I've been given some instructions, and as you can see, I don't follow instructions. I'm supposed to be behind this white line. So in front of it, oh, you see, I don't even listen. In front and the back, who cares? It works, either way. So Whole Foods, I was saying, provides its customers with amazing products, that come from everywhere, do all types of things. But on top of that, through various of their programs, they have really been able to challenge the supply chains of any of the products that they have to deal with. The Whole Trade program is one of them, the Sustainable Seafood program is one of them, and so on and so forth. And then last but not least, an example that I picked up on yesterday, I don't know if you guys were in this room, but sincerely, for me, my heart literally dropped. It dropped with such pride of what people, once again, can accomplish when they try to think outside of a box and show up at the table, not waiting for anybody else to give them an answer, and I'm talking about Televerity, obviously. I mean, what these people are doing about the mass incarceration problem, it is just mind-blowing. So not only are they able to provide to their customers really great solutions, but on top of that, being able to bring back inmates, current and former inmates, into the system, I think that's commendable. And not only that, they're out there in terms of really helping with the ecosystem of that issue, they're also out there advocating something like ban the box. And by the way, I am definitely going to be banning the box from now on. So now what I want to do is talk to you about what my company, Skinny Skin, does, why I do what I do, and what it has to do with my challenges. You see, the big world problem that I'm working on is to bring dignity and prosperity to this massive continent known as Africa. It's a big world problem, isn't it? So I don't pretend to stand here and all by myself and fix it. Absolutely not. But you got to be sure that everything that I do, every single breath that I take, has to do with contributing to that problem. So how do we do that? You see, people think, oh my God, Africa is such a big continent with such poverty. Yet, do we ever stop and think as to why Africa is poor? I'm sure many one of you in this room, if I asked any one of you why my continent is poor, each one of them probably would come up, each one of you would come up with your own answer as to why my country is poor. And guess what? Some people, maybe people in this room will say, oh, we never thought that. But some people do think that my continent is poor because black people, Africans, have a lower IQ. I see that all the time. I even hear that all the time in so many words. Other people think that my people are poor because we are malnourished. Others think we are poor because we don't have access to clean water. Others think we are poor because we're always busy hacking each other. Wars. Others think it's because there's so much diseases going on. Every single person you ask, why is your continent poor, mostly, Economically, they say they come up with some weirdo reasons. And that has been a question of mine from the moment I was 7 years old. Because what happened when I was 7? My family moved me from Senegal back to Germany first, and then we later went to France, where I got mostly raised. Then I came to the US after business school. But the minute I set foot in Germany at age 7, I asked myself, something here does not add up. How come this country has this and my country had that? Made no sense to me. And then people said, when people talk about things that have to do with the fact that maybe, yeah, the IQ, then I'm like, I don't understand. Because how come the same person who leaves any African country and goes to Europe, like my parents did, or goes to the US, all of a sudden, voila, they also make it. It doesn't have to be with it. It doesn't do with it. It's not about the people, is it? Something else must be going on. So this has been a question of mine for my whole entire life. I did not accept any of this stuff that people are talking about. Oh, education. Do you know how many PhDs are walking in the streets of Dakar right now without a job? Do you know? Living in poverty? So please, don't give me any of that stuff. Is it important? You betcha. But is it the key root of everything else? I am not so sure. So, question never left me. And do you know what I found out eventually? The equation was very simple. You're poor because you have no money. You have no money because you have no source of income. What is a source of income for most of us? I ask you in this room. For most of us, what is a source of income? Jobs, right? Some people say, oh yeah, government. I'm like, even if you work for the government, I would like to think that you're being paid. Yeah, where does that money come from? And then they're like, oh, okay, never mind, we're with you. So I think, I like to think that in this room, I got everybody with me, right? Thank you. So, jobs. Where do jobs come from? Commerce? You may be better than my UC Berkeley graduate students that I give a class to every year. Who else? So I think we got it. Jobs come from businesses, most importantly, from small and medium-sized enterprises. Then don't you think that we should start and think about then, if we want jobs that we know come from businesses, mostly from small and medium-sized enterprises, then don't you think for a second that we should start to think about how much a country offers its citizens a good business climate? Ladies and gentlemen, you want to know why my country is poor and so many other African countries are poor? It is because we have a chain around our necks. Us local entrepreneurs in Africa, and most of African countries, 54 countries, we have a chain around our neck. And that chain, which is basically trampling a key freedom, which is economic freedom. What economic freedom is the ability that every single person in this room has to get up, start a business, run it, and you look around, I have a bunch of really successful people around this room, providing amazing jobs to people. We have created so many jobs that we pretty much have almost anybody who is available and ready to work is working in this country right now. You want to know why my country's poor? That's a reason why. And so when that became clear to me, I started to wonder, is there anything measuring this? And yes, indeed. When you look at the doing business and the doing business of the World Bank, who has ever seen that or heard of it? I see a few hands in this room. Or the Fraser Economic Freedom Index, Fraser Institute, who has ever heard of that one? A few hands. Those, what they measure is how hard or easy it is to start and run a business anywhere in the world. And guess what? In all of those indexes, African countries are at the bottom of the list, except maybe for 5 of them in sub-Saharan Africa. That's insane. That's insane. And no one knows that. And you walk around and you say, oh, you guys, it's because of, and let me give you some free shoes. You see now the irony of this. I mean, you see that, I'm going to stop right there. So, because we have such a terrible business climate back home, people cannot start these businesses as much as we would need them. The jobs that would be coming out of them are not present. And then people are poor. And if they're poor, you know what they do? they try to leave home desperately. And the next time you hear about these caravans even coming to the US, you have to start remembering that, because when I hear my friends on NPR talk about that issue of a caravan, it is mostly about the fight between the two sides. Should we let them in? Should we not let them in? And rarely, rarely do I hear somebody talk about the reasons why these people are at the gates. You know, it takes something unbelievably big for a mass of people to decide to make that decision to leave where they came from. You're leaving your roots behind, your family, your people, and you're moving across with your children. In my case, so many of the people right now are laying at the bottom of the ocean serving as fish food on their journey trying to make it to Europe. And that route became so dangerous that they said, oh, we're going to take the land route now. And so many of them get stuck in Libya. And right now, do you know what's happening to people like me in Libya who had tried to flee my country to go make a better living for themselves? We are being sold as slaves in 2019. My cost precisely is between $300 and $500. That's what you can buy me for in Libya right now. And all of that has to do with the simple fact that in my country, I am lacking economic freedom, and we don't have the strong free markets that we enjoy here. And I know in some circles the word free market is even taboo, but think again about what I just told you now. This is about a more urgency is going on right now. We can no longer afford to sit there and turn this issue into a political issue. This is a human rights issue as far as I am concerned. It is my story, and I am sticking to it. And history will judge the rest of us. Because what I am asking for, the level of free markets that I'm asking for, the level of economic freedom I'm asking for right now, is not even past the one that people in Scandinavia get to enjoy. It is easier to do business anywhere in Scandinavia than it is anywhere in most of sub-Saharan Africa. All of Scandinavia is more capitalist, yes, I will use that word, is more capitalist than most countries in Africa. And you see the consequences. So do you think then that I have any patience for anybody who, from the comfort of their American homes, enjoying all the things that capitalism has offered them, is going to come and tell me that no, I should stay a little subsistence farmer because, you know, it's so romantic. If it's so romantic, switch your Berkeley home with my thatch roof home in Senegal. And if you can't do that, then I don't think you have a right to speak. That's how I roll. That's how I roll. So, you see, what I do to solve that big world problem of trying to bring dignity and prosperity to Africa through my company Skin is Skin is we manufacture these lip balms that are designed to fight discrimination in the US, but we manufacture them back home in Senegal. So far, a lot of skincare companies, they are very good at buying raw ingredients from the continent, but not so many dare to manufacture finished product in Africa and bring it to the US because there is a perception around that. And we've done that. And I have to say that Whole Foods just became one of our biggest retailers partners. We're going to be launching with them in late June. So that's the type of thing we're doing there. I want to show you something about the dignity and the prosperity. Can we show the slide? These are just the people who work inside the lab for now. So there's 4 people. There are other people working at the company in Senegal. But you see that lady who is looking sideways and she seems so exuberant and happy right now? Her name is Yahara. She's 26 years old. Before us, she never had a job before, and her only goal in life was to wait at home for her husband while cooking, cleaning, and serving people in her family. It is with us that she got a job for the first time in her life. But the reason why I bring her up is because I share these stories with everybody. Everybody who is around me needs to know why I wake up in the morning. Everybody around me needs to know why I haven't taken vacation for the past 15 years. Everyone around me needs to know why I look like a freak, because I'm haunted, because I'm on a mission. So when I told her, she started crying when I explained all of these things I explained to you as to why my continent is so poor, what can we do, and how I see such a bright future for us because we know what to do. She started crying. And I said, why are you crying? She said, you know, I'm crying because up till now, because this whole time, every time I open a magazine, I watch a movie all the time. It's about they're showing me, the African women with this black skin of mine, and they're showing us that we're so pathetic, that the world has to help us with everything. They have to bring me shoes, they have to bring us clean water, everything. And she said, I've seen it so much from the moment I was born that I have to confess to you. But by now, I have come to believe that maybe us Africans are truly inferior. Isn't that heartbreaking? I don't know how much of that I must have carried myself without even knowing. Who knows? But when she said that, oh. But then she said, oh, but that's not why I'm crying. I'm like, oh, really? Why are you crying then? And then she said, because now I know that it is not true. That type of liberation, the true, valid form of liberation. There goes this woman who for the past 26 years of her life has been walking on this earth feeling less than. Put yourself in the shoes. Every morning you wake up, you feel that you're not as good as the next human being just because maybe of the skin color of yours. And she had no idea, but it had nothing to do with her. Because like Yunus said, Nobel Prize, he said, poor people are bonsai people. The tree that you see, beautiful, tall in the jungle, is the same seed as you see in that little potted, I told you English is my fourth language, and when you add emotion to it, all hell breaks loose. But you know what I'm trying to say. Same people, the seed. And that's what I was always feeling. There's nothing wrong with me as the seed. It's my environment that's not so right, and we can fix that. That's what she felt. And I could see her shoulders going down. And something changed about her from that moment on. And I'm no longer worried about her. The sadness I saw lingering in her is gone. So you see, that dignity, there is no price to it, is there? None. But that's what we should be, and we can contribute to bringing back to millions of people around us. So, company makes its products over there. We're exposing our employees to world-class standards, of doing business. And at the same time, the way we like to think that we're contributing to the ecosystem is obviously by, in my case, I do a few things, but I will just to leave you with three. One of them is I write very provocative articles, and as you can imagine, you can see my style. It's not like I'm gonna rub you the nice way. No, I poke and then I do this. Because the goal is not to lose you, right? The goal is really to bring you over. So I poke you enough so you wake up, but then I bring you over to my side, hopefully. So I write these provocative articles, and one of them, for example, was debated on national TV, on the most respected TV show in my country, by two teams of experts talking about why is Magatte writing an article in Forbes on this idea of if I can't fire you, I can't hire you. Because that's one of the issues I have. You see, here you have a freedom of associations with your employees. There, I don't. And that will make a huge difference if ever you even decide to hire somebody. So, and a few things have changed because since then, the president has put a task force together to work on reforms related to labor laws. And another one is just recently I joined Atlas Network as their director for the Africa Center for Prosperity, and there I work directly with all their think tanks that they're investing in that are working on bringing greater economic freedom to Africa. And another one has to do with a TV series that we're going to be launching very soon, and that TV series is all about being able to talk to a million more people like Yahara to free them up over here, as well as people who really care about this issue, people like you in this room. I want to make sure that the diagnosis about why my continent is poor finally gets done right. Because if you go to your doctor and there's something wrong with your liver, but the doctor is working on your brain, if you're gonna make it out of there alive, you tell me how. Maybe by luck, and luck is always happening, but I can't rely on luck at this point. You got me? Okay. So guys, this is all I wanted to tell you. Nothing else. That's it. From here on, no one in this room has no more benefits of a doubt. By now, you know I'm watching you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now let's do this little exercise where we're going to try to go through this challenge. And Amanda, I know, is somewhere, probably she's going to come and grab me from the stage. So she said I could only give you the first question, and then she'll do the rest. So first question, I want you guys at each table to just talk about it. Which is the world problem or problems that your company is working towards solving? Again, humility here. We all know none of us alone can fix anything, but together we can, and you just have to get started. So I want you to start to think beyond the product that you're making, whatever it is that you're doing. I want you to elevate it back to the world and see what world problem are you trying to solve. We'll let you talk about it for a few minutes. Thank you.